What makes a royal encounter truly unforgettable? For Queen Elizabeth II, it was a rare, deep connection with one U.S. president that transcended the usual diplomatic formality. Over her 7-decade reign, she met 13 sitting U.S. presidents, yet one relationship stood out above the rest: a bond with Barack Obama, the only former U.S. president she ever sought to invite back after he left office. Their connection, grounded in mutual respect and shared values, went beyond politics, reflecting a personal warmth that set it apart from all other state visits. What does this unique bond reveal about the nature of leadership? How can personal connections like these influence international diplomacy? And what does it say about the Queen's ability to adapt to a changing world? Let's explore these facts in detail. Queen Elizabeth II's relationship with U.S. presidents has long been a symbol of the enduring, special relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States. Their first meeting occurred in April 2009, shortly after Obama's inauguration. Barack and Michelle Obama were received at Buckingham Palace during a G20 summit, a significant moment that laid the foundation for an enduring connection. The meeting was steeped in formality, as one might expect from a royal audience, but observers quickly noted a mutual ease between the Queen and the new U.S. president. For Obama, meeting the Queen was not just another diplomatic engagement. It was a moment steeped in history and personal admiration. For Queen Elizabeth, it was an opportunity to engage with a leader who represented a fresh era of hope and change. During that initial meeting, Barack and Michelle Obama presented the Queen with a rare iPod loaded with footage of her previous state visits to the U.S., alongside a signed songbook by Richard Rodgers. The gift may have raised eyebrows for its modernity, but it seemed to resonate with the Queen, who appreciated thoughtful gestures. In return, the Queen gifted Obama a silver-framed photograph of herself and Prince Philip, a gesture reserved for visits of particular significance. These exchanges marked the start of a rapport that would transcend their formal roles. As the years passed, the bond deepened. In 2011, the Obamas returned to the UK for a state visit, this time met with even more warmth and informality. One moment that captured global attention occurred when Michelle Obama briefly placed her hand on the Queen's back, a gesture that broke royal protocol. Instead of being offended, the Queen responded with an equally human touch, gently placing her hand on Michelle's shoulder. This spontaneous exchange spoke volumes about the level of comfort between them. It wasn't just an official state visit, it was a meeting of equals, unguarded and genuine. The relationship between the Queen and Obama was characterized by shared values, particularly a mutual dedication to service and a grounded sense of humanity. During his presidency, Obama often spoke of his respect for the Queen's role in navigating decades of global change. He admired her sharp wit, her deep understanding of world affairs, and her ability to remain a steadying figure during times of crisis. In turn, the Queen seemed to enjoy Obama's charisma, humor, and humility, qualities that endeared him not just to her, but to the world. One of the most significant moments in their relationship occurred in 2016. During Obama's final visit to the United Kingdom as president, he and Michelle were invited to Windsor Castle, where the Queen personally hosted a private lunch to celebrate her 90th birthday. This was no ordinary royal engagement. It was a deeply personal gesture that reflected the genuine affection she felt for the Obamas. What made this occasion even more remarkable was the Queen's decision to personally drive the Obamas in her Range Rover, a rare sight that underscored the casual and intimate nature of their bond. Following the end of Obama's presidency in 2017, royal observers might have expected the relationship to quietly fade, as is customary. After all, the Queen's engagements were typically reserved for current heads of state, not former ones. However, Queen Elizabeth II made an unprecedented move by expressing her desire to meet Obama again, even after his time in office had concluded. According to royal biographer Tom Quinn, she repeatedly asked her courtiers to arrange a visit, revealing a fondness for the former president that went beyond formal diplomacy. She completely fell in love with him, Quinn wrote, explaining that the Queen admired Obama's intelligence, warmth, and approachability. For a monarch who had maintained strict decorum throughout her reign, this departure from tradition spoke volumes. The Queen's longing to host Obama again wasn't just about nostalgia. It was a testament to the unique connection they shared, a bond rooted in mutual respect and genuine friendship. Although scheduling conflicts and logistical challenges ultimately prevented a post-presidency visit, the sentiment remained. The Queen's admiration for Obama was evident, even from afar. When news of her passing broke in September 2022, Obama was among the first to publicly pay tribute, sharing heartfelt reflections on his time with Her Majesty. In a statement, he wrote, "Michelle and I were lucky enough to come to know Her Majesty, and she meant a great deal to us. Time and again, we were struck by her warmth and the way she put people at ease, something few heads of state can do." His words echoed the sentiments of many who had met the Queen, but they carried a deeper resonance, shaped by their unique history. The relationship between Queen Elizabeth II and Barack Obama was a rare convergence of formality and authenticity. It reflected the Queen's ability to connect with people not just as a monarch, but as an individual who valued kindness, wit, and intelligence. This bond also underscored the evolution of the monarchy itself. In breaking tradition to express her desire to host Obama again, the Queen demonstrated her willingness to adapt to a changing world. Her reign was defined not just by her adherence to tradition, but by her ability to balance it with modernity. Obama's post-presidency connection with the Queen remains a powerful reminder of her personal warmth, her humanity, and her capacity to transcend political and cultural divides. As the bond between Queen Elizabeth II and Barack Obama highlighted her ability to foster unique connections, it was just one chapter in a long history of relationships with U.S. presidents. These encounters, while often ceremonial, reflected the Queen's adaptability and her role in sustaining the special relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States. Over the decades, she met a total of 13 sitting U.S. presidents, each interaction offering a glimpse into her diplomatic style and personal warmth. One of the earliest and most enduring connections was with Dwight D. Eisenhower, whom she met shortly after her coronation. Their relationship was both professional and personal, extending well beyond the usual exchanges of statecraft. Eisenhower, a World War II hero and then President of the United States, represented the strength of the transatlantic alliance forged during the war. The Queen's fondness for Eisenhower was evident in their many years of correspondence, during which she shared anecdotes from her life, and even a recipe for scones, a small but telling detail about the comfort and ease she felt in his company. Their mutual respect was emblematic of the post-war era, a time when the United Kingdom and the United States were solidifying their roles as global leaders. Eisenhower himself expressed admiration for the young Queen's composure and her grasp of world affairs. For Elizabeth, Eisenhower's steady leadership and historical significance as the supreme commander of Allied forces during World War II likely resonated deeply. Their interactions laid the groundwork for what would become a series of meaningful relationships with U.S. presidents. The Queen's encounters with John F. Kennedy marked a different era altogether. Kennedy's visit to Buckingham Palace in 1961 was one of the most glamorous state dinners of her reign. Jackie Kennedy, the First Lady, captivated the British press, while JFK's charm and charisma were not lost on the Queen. However, beneath the surface, the meeting wasn't without its tensions. Reports suggest that Jackie felt the Queen was distant during their initial interaction, a perception that may have stemmed from the stark contrast in their public personas. Despite these early reservations, their relationship seemed to warm over time. When Kennedy was tragically assassinated in 1963, the Queen took the extraordinary step of establishing a scholarship fund in his name. This act of compassion reflected not only her grief but also her recognition of the deep bond between their two nations. It was a moment that highlighted her ability to rise above protocol and respond with humanity. In contrast, Lyndon B. Johnson, Kennedy's successor, holds the distinction of being the only U.S. president during her reign whom Queen Elizabeth II did not meet. The reasons behind this absence remain unclear, though some speculate that scheduling conflicts and the turbulent political climate of the 1960s may have played a role. Johnson's presidency was marked by the Vietnam War and civil unrest in the United States, events that may have overshadowed the opportunity for a formal meeting. Whatever the reasons, this omission stands out in the Queen's otherwise comprehensive history of U.S. presidential encounters. As the decades progressed, the Queen's ability to adapt to different leadership styles became increasingly evident. Richard Nixon, who served as vice president under Eisenhower before his own presidency, had multiple meetings with Queen Elizabeth II. Nixon's approach was strategic, and his interactions with the Queen often carried a subtext of political maneuvering. One notable anecdote involves his attempt to match Prince Charles with his daughter, Tricia Nixon. The story, though lighthearted, reflects Nixon's tendency to intertwine personal relationships with political objectives. Despite this, the Queen remained composed and gracious, maintaining the decorum expected of her role. Her ability to navigate these moments with poise underscores a theme that runs throughout her reign: the capacity to balance tradition with the unpredictable nature of human interactions. Nixon himself spoke warmly of the Queen, describing her as charming and thoughtful, sentiments that mirrored the broader admiration she garnered from American leaders. The 1970s and early 1980s brought new dynamics to her relationships with U.S. presidents. Gerald Ford and Jimmy Carter each left their mark in unique ways. Ford's presidency, though brief, included a memorable meeting with the Queen during the bicentennial celebrations in 1976. The sight of the Queen dancing with Ford at the White House became an iconic image, symbolizing the enduring friendship between the two nations. For a monarch who represented centuries of tradition, moments like these showed her ability to engage in the lighter, more human side of diplomacy. Jimmy Carter's interactions with the Queen, however, included a notable faux pas. During a state visit, Carter was reported to have kissed the Queen's mother on the lips, an action that caused a stir in royal circles. Despite the breach of protocol, the Queen handled the situation with her characteristic grace, demonstrating her ability to manage even the most awkward of moments with dignity. These encounters, while not without their challenges, revealed her skill in navigating the complexities of interpersonal relationships. As the Cold War reached its height, the Queen's relationship with Ronald Reagan brought a unique dimension to her interactions with American presidents. Reagan, known for his affable nature and love of horseback riding, found a kindred spirit in the Queen. Their shared passion for horses led to a genuine friendship, one that extended beyond the usual confines of statecraft. In 1983, Reagan hosted the Queen at his California ranch, a visit that was notable not only for its informality but also for the warmth and camaraderie it showcased. The bond between the Queen and Reagan went beyond their shared hobbies. In 1989, she awarded him an honorary knighthood, a rare and significant gesture that highlighted his contributions to the US-UK alliance during the Falklands War. Reagan's speeches often reflected his admiration for the Queen, emphasizing her role as a symbol of stability and continuity in an ever-changing world. Their relationship stood as a testament to the power of personal connection in fostering diplomatic ties. As the Cold War drew to a close, the Queen's interactions with U.S. presidents continued to evolve, reflecting the changing dynamics of global politics. Her ability to connect with leaders across generations demonstrated not only her adaptability, but also her enduring relevance as a monarch. Each relationship, from Eisenhower to Reagan, revealed a different facet of her character, from her warmth and wit to her unwavering commitment to tradition. These encounters were more than just moments of protocol. They were chapters in a larger story of a Queen who bridged cultural and political divides with elegance and humanity. As the world transitioned out of the Cold War era, Queen Elizabeth II's relationships with U.S. presidents adapted to the evolving political and cultural landscape. The 1990s and early 2000s marked a period of significant global change, with the United States solidifying its role as a dominant superpower and the United Kingdom continuing to serve as a key ally. Throughout this period, the Queen's ability to connect with U.S. leaders showcased her diplomatic versatility and her unwavering commitment to maintaining the special relationship. The 1990s began with the presidency of George H.W. Bush, whose pragmatic and seasoned leadership was mirrored by the Queen's steadying presence. Their interactions were marked by mutual respect, with Bush describing the Queen as a remarkable leader. Their shared focus on international cooperation, particularly during the Gulf War, highlighted the critical role of the US-UK alliance in navigating global crises. During a state visit to the U.S. in 1991, the Queen addressed a joint session of Congress, an honor rarely granted to foreign leaders. Her speech, which emphasized shared values and mutual respect, was met with widespread acclaim and underscored her enduring influence on international relations. Following Bush's presidency, the Queen's relationship with Bill Clinton introduced a more casual and modern dynamic. Clinton's presidency was defined by a sense of optimism and cultural change, qualities that were reflected in his interactions with the Queen. Their meetings, while formal, carried a lighter tone, with Clinton often expressing his admiration for her humor and grace. During a state banquet at Buckingham Palace, Clinton remarked on the Queen's ability to balance her traditional role with an approachable demeanor, a sentiment echoed by many who met her. One particularly memorable moment came during a visit to the UK when Clinton brought along his teenage daughter, Chelsea. The Queen reportedly took a keen interest in Chelsea's experience, engaging her in conversation and making her feel at ease. This personal touch highlighted the Queen's ability to connect across generations, reinforcing her role not just as a monarch, but as a figure of continuity and familiarity in a rapidly changing world. As the new millennium approached, the Queen's relationship with George W. Bush reflected her adaptability to yet another leadership style. Bush's presidency, shaped by the events of September 11, 2001, and the subsequent War on Terror, brought unique challenges to U.S.-UK relations. Despite these high-stakes political dynamics, the Queen and Bush shared a surprisingly warm and cordial relationship. Their first official meeting during Bush's state visit to the UK in 2003 revealed a mutual respect and an unexpected sense of humor. At a state banquet, Bush famously stumbled during his speech, briefly suggesting that the Queen had celebrated the U.S. bicentennial in 1776, a humorous gaffe that could have been awkward but was diffused by the Queen's quick wit. In her response, she quipped, "I wondered whether I should start this toast by saying, 'What a sitch,' when I was here in 1776. Her ability to turn the moment into a shared laugh reflected her sharp sense of humor and her skill in putting others at ease. The aftermath of September 11, 2001 brought another layer of depth to their relationship. The Queen's heartfelt gestures of solidarity, including a memorial service at St. Paul's Cathedral and the unprecedented playing of the U.S. national anthem during the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace, resonated deeply with the American people. Bush later described these actions as profoundly moving and a testament to the Queen's understanding of the significance of that moment in history. During Bush's presidency, the Queen also welcomed him and his wife, Laura, to Windsor Castle for an informal gathering. The visit highlighted the evolving nature of these royal encounters, blending protocol with moments of genuine connection. Bush, known for his straightforward demeanor, seemed to appreciate the Queen's candor and charm, referring to her as a strong woman who carried her responsibilities with dignity and grace. As the Queen navigated her relationships with these presidents, she continued to demonstrate an ability to adapt to their individual styles and the unique circumstances of their times. Clinton's casual approach and focus on cultural diplomacy contrasted with Bush's more formal but warm demeanor. Yet the Queen found common ground with both. These interactions reinforced her role as a steadying presence in the US-UK alliance, capable of fostering continuity even amid political and cultural shifts. The early 2000s also marked a period of reflection for the Queen as she approached her Golden Jubilee in 2002. This milestone celebrated 50 years on the throne and highlighted her enduring commitment to her role as both a figurehead and a hands-on diplomat. Her relationships with U.S. presidents during this period exemplified her ability to navigate the complexities of modern leadership while maintaining the traditions of the monarchy. As global events continued to shape the political landscape, the Queen's personal connections with U.S. leaders became increasingly significant. Her ability to forge genuine bonds, even with presidents whose policies or personalities varied widely, underscored her diplomatic skill and her enduring relevance as a unifying figure. These relationships were not just about politics, they were about mutual respect, shared values, and the Queen's unwavering dedication to the ideals of service and collaboration. The stage was now set for a new chapter in her interactions with U.S. presidents. As Barack Obama entered the international arena, he brought with him a spirit of change and optimism that resonated deeply with the Queen. This next phase would highlight not only her adaptability but also her capacity to connect on a profoundly personal level, solidifying her legacy as a monarch who transcended the boundaries of tradition and diplomacy. The arrival of Barack Obama onto the global stage marked the beginning of a transformative chapter in Queen Elizabeth II's interactions with U.S. presidents. His presidency embodied a message of hope and progress, qualities that resonated deeply with the Queen's steady leadership style. From their first meeting in 2009, it became clear that this relationship would be unique, not just in terms of political collaboration, but in the genuine bond that developed between the two leaders. When Barack and Michelle Obama visited Buckingham Palace in April 2009, the atmosphere was notably warm and informal, a departure from the rigid ceremonial protocols that typically govern such events. The Obamas were received with an open warmth that set the tone for future encounters. Michelle Obama, famously tactile and approachable, caused a minor stir by briefly placing her arm around the Queen's back during their interaction. What could have been seen as a breach of royal etiquette instead became a symbol of mutual respect when the Queen reciprocated the gesture, signaling her comfort and admiration for the First Lady. Barack Obama himself exuded a relaxed confidence that appealed to the Queen. During their conversations, he expressed admiration for her ability to balance the weight of her responsibilities with a sense of grace and humanity. The Queen, in turn, found his candor and humility refreshing. Observers noted the natural ease in their rapport, a quality that seemed to deepen with each subsequent meeting. The bond between the Queen and Obama became even more evident during his state visit to the United Kingdom in May 2011. This visit included all the hallmarks of a traditional royal reception: an opulent banquet, a formal exchange of gifts, and carefully choreographed public appearances. Yet, amidst the grandeur, moments of genuine connection stood out. During his toast at the state banquet, Obama paid tribute to the Queen, calling her a living symbol of the alliance between our nations. The sincerity of his words was reflected in the Queen's response, which was marked by warmth and appreciation. One of the most poignant interactions came during a private lunch hosted by the Queen at Windsor Castle in 2016, during Obama's final year in office. This gathering was part of the Queen's 90th birthday celebrations, a personal milestone that Obama was invited to share. The decision to include him and Michelle in such an intimate setting spoke volumes about the depth of their connection. During this visit, the Queen personally drove the Obamas in her Range Rover, a rare and informal gesture that underscored the mutual respect and affection between them. The Queen's fondness for Obama extended beyond his presidency. When he left office in 2017, royal insiders revealed that she repeatedly expressed a desire to meet with him again. According to accounts from palace staff, the Queen often spoke of Obama with admiration, referring to him as a leader who embodied the qualities she most valued: humility, intelligence, and a genuine commitment to service. This desire to host a former president, a significant departure from royal tradition, highlighted the uniqueness of their bond. Although logistical challenges and scheduling conflicts ultimately prevented a post-presidency visit, the sentiment behind the Queen's wish was unmistakable. It reflected not only her personal admiration for Obama, but also her understanding of the symbolic power of their connection. In a world often divided by politics and cultural differences, their relationship represented a bridge, a testament to the enduring strength of the US-UK alliance. Obama, for his part, was equally vocal about his admiration for the Queen. In interviews and public statements, he often spoke of her wit, warmth, and wisdom. Reflecting on their time together, he described her as a source of inspiration not just for the people of the United Kingdom, but for the world. His words captured the essence of what made their bond so special: a mutual recognition of each other's contributions to global leadership and an appreciation for the values they both championed. As the Queen's relationship with Obama became a defining element of her later years, it also served as a reminder of her ability to adapt to changing times. Her willingness to break with tradition and embrace a more personal approach to diplomacy reflected her understanding of the evolving nature of leadership. This adaptability was a hallmark of her reign, enabling her to maintain relevance and influence across generations. The Queen's interactions with Obama also highlighted a broader theme in her relationships with U.S. presidents: the balance between formality and authenticity. While her role as a monarch required adherence to tradition and protocol, she consistently demonstrated an ability to connect on a human level. This balance was perhaps most evident in her bond with Obama, where moments of laughter and camaraderie coexisted with the gravity of their shared responsibilities. By the time news of the Queen's passing broke in 2022, Obama's reflections on their relationship captured the sentiments of many who had been fortunate enough to know her. In his tribute, he emphasized her ability to connect with people from all walks of life, describing her as an icon of stability and grace. These words echoed the feelings of countless others who had experienced her warmth and wisdom firsthand. The connection between Queen Elizabeth II and Barack Obama was more than a diplomatic success. It was a deeply personal friendship that transcended the boundaries of their respective roles. It stood as a testament to the Queen's humanity, her ability to adapt, and her enduring commitment to fostering unity in an increasingly complex world. As their chapter came to a close, it left behind a legacy that would serve as an inspiration for generations to come. As Queen Elizabeth II's reign drew to a close, her interactions with U.S. presidents continued to reflect the deep respect and personal warmth she had cultivated over the decades. In her final years, her legacy as a monarch who bridged nations and generations remained undeniable. Her relationship with Barack Obama, in particular, would become a defining example of how the Queen maintained her ability to connect with world leaders on a human level long after they left office. In 2021, when Joe Biden was inaugurated as the 46th President of the United States, the Queen met with him and First Lady Jill Biden during their first official visit to the United Kingdom. This meeting, which took place at Windsor Castle, was marked by a moment of lighthearted humor that showcased the same graciousness the Queen had displayed in her many interactions with U.S. presidents. When asked by Biden if he should look more serious for the photograph, the Queen playfully responded, "Are you supposed to be looking as if you're enjoying yourself?" It was a moment that not only revealed the Queen's characteristic wit, but also highlighted the bond that still existed between the two nations, even in the post-Trump, post-Brexit world. Biden's reflections on the Queen, both during this meeting and after her passing, underscored the unique role she played in shaping the relationship between the U.S. and the U.K. Biden, who had long admired the Queen, described her as a remarkably gracious and decent woman, and recalled how she reminded him of his own mother. For Biden, the Queen represented continuity in a world that often seemed defined by chaos and uncertainty. Her ability to remain a steadying presence, both for her country and for the broader world, was a trait that resonated deeply with him. As Biden's first term continued, it became clear that the Queen's legacy would remain an enduring influence on international diplomacy. Her steady hand had guided the UK through decades of change, from the dissolution of the British Empire to the shifting political landscape of Europe. Yet, even as the world moved toward a new era, Queen Elizabeth remained a constant, representing a symbol of unity and tradition that transcended political divides. When news of her passing broke in September 2022, the world paused to reflect on her remarkable 70-year reign. Tributes poured in from world leaders, diplomats, and citizens alike, but it was Obama's statement that seemed to capture the sentiment of those who had experienced her leadership firsthand. He wrote, "Michelle and I were lucky enough to come to know Her Majesty, and she meant a great deal to us. Time and again, we were struck by her warmth and the way she put people at ease, something few heads of state can do." Obama's words encapsulated the essence of the Queen's legacy, a leader who, despite her position of immense power, never lost touch with her humanity. In reflecting on the Queen's impact, it is clear that her legacy as a monarch transcended the politics of her time. Her ability to connect with U.S. presidents, from Harry Truman to Joe Biden, was not simply a matter of statecraft. It was the result of her personal qualities, her warmth, her wit, and her unwavering sense of duty. Each president, in their own way, spoke of the Queen with admiration, recognizing that her influence extended far beyond the formalities of royal protocol. She was, in many ways, a leader for the modern age, able to adapt to changing times while remaining grounded in the values that had defined her reign. Her relationship with Obama in particular demonstrated how the Queen was able to bridge the generational gap between herself and younger leaders, while maintaining the dignity and respect of her office. Obama, whose presidency symbolized hope and change, found a kindred spirit in the Queen, whose reign had witnessed the ebb and flow of history. Their bond was not just based on political cooperation, but on a mutual respect for the responsibilities of leadership and the importance of serving one's country with honor and integrity. As the world moved forward without her, the lessons of Queen Elizabeth II's reign remained clear. Leadership is about more than just authority. It is about building connections, maintaining respect, and finding common ground. Her legacy, shaped by decades of diplomacy, personal warmth, and unwavering commitment to her people, continues to influence global leaders to this day. In her final years, the Queen had the opportunity to witness the changing of the guard once more, as leaders like Obama, Biden, and others took their place on the world stage. Her ability to connect with these figures, whether through formal state visits or more personal moments, left an indelible mark on the history of the British monarchy. And in the hearts of those who met her, world leaders, citizens, and colleagues alike, her legacy lives on as a beacon of grace, leadership, and humanity. Queen Elizabeth II's reign may have ended with her passing, but the impact of her relationships with world leaders, especially the U.S. presidents she met, will continue to shape the course of history for years to come. Through her ability to connect on a personal level with figures as diverse as Truman and Obama, she demonstrated that diplomacy is not just about policy and power. It is about people and the enduring bonds they create in the service of something greater than themselves. With that, we have reached the end of today's video. If you have come this far with us, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.